if you react to your watch strap, then you know what you react to. You've made your own diagnosis. And if you're reacting to the metal of the watch, the commonest allergen that people react to there is nickel. And nickel's found in a lot of alloys, including things like the studs on jeans. You can be tested for allergies in two main ways. There are blood tests that can be done, which are called RAST tests. But they have to be done against a specific allergen. So you can't just say, take my blood and test me for everything and tell me what I'm allergic to. You can say, take my blood and test it and tell me if I'm allergic to grass or house dust or peanuts, and you can actually specifically test for those things, but it's a limited number of things that you can specifically test for in that process. The other way is to do skin tests where you put a small amount of a substance on the skin and you see if the skin reacts over a period of a week or two. And this can be done in batteries. So again, you can have a battery of tests where you could be tested for 20 different things at the same time, but it's 20 little scratches or pinpricks on your arm or your back with the allergens in, and then somebody looks at it and sees what the reaction is afterwards. It's quite a laborious process to discover what you're allergic to. Many people actually make their own diagnosis and work it out for themselves.
Do you find that there are a lot of people who have allergic reactions to drugs? I mean, penicillin is one which is quite common. It's been used for years and years and years. And are more people becoming allergic to penicillin?
It's reckoned that about 10% of the population are allergic to penicillin or are recorded as being allergic to penicillin. One of the problems with penicillin is it's given to children, or forms of penicillin are given to children when they're ill. And often it's given for an illness that is probably a viral illness that produces a rash that looks like a penicillin allergic rash. So a lot of children are labelled as being sensitive to penicillin or allergic to penicillin when probably they simply had a viral rash at the same time as taking the penicillin, but we can't prove that. The incidence of drug allergy is rising, and again, it may be partly because we're recognising it better, and partly because there are so many more drugs out there, so there's so many more opportunities to find something you're allergic to.
Is there a good time to get tested? I mean, should you be a particular age when you get tested for allergic reactions?
You should only be tested for allergies if it's something that's really severely affecting your life. Just going along to your doctor and saying, I'd like to find out if I'm allergic to something, is actually, to be honest, a waste of your time and the doctor's time and the NHS's money. The time to be tested is when it's causing a problem with your life and affecting your normal daily activities, and then it's worth going and being tested to see if you can find out what it is and eliminate it. If you know what it is you're allergic to, you don't need to be tested. But unfortunately, sometimes you find you're allergic to something you can't avoid. And a common example is house dust. A lot of people have respiratory symptoms, asthma or running or hay fever type symptoms with house dust. Well, even if you live in a drafty castle with no central heating and no soft furnishings, there's still some dust around.
So the protective mother who is worried because her husband happens to be anaphylactic to peanuts or nuts in general or something like that, who's worried about whether her child should basically give them a nut and see what happens, or just avoid nuts completely?
It depends how worried you are and how anxious you are. You could take either view. I would say don't give them any peanuts in the first 2 years of life, and if you are worried that they may be allergic to it, when you give them peanuts for the first time, you give them a very small amount and see what happens.
So it really is just trial and error.
It is trial and error. There is some desensitisation programs which are based on giving small quantities of things that people are allergic to and gradually increasing the quantities over a period of time. And that has been done successfully with grass pollen for severe hay fever sufferers. And
so it makes the symptoms better, and are they completely free of their allergy then?
Yeah, those when it's successful, you can be cured of hay fever if it's that particular type of hay fever. But it's not easy, and it takes time, and it's not always successful. But yes, it can work.